Ireland has ordered Apple to pay more than 13 billion euros in taxes.
Oh, shuck it, duck it now!
So yesterday it was announced that Ireland is making Apple, a company that has been using Irish subsidiaries to avoid paying taxes now, to pay Ireland more than 13 billion euros in taxes, which is an awesome deal because it means that finally in Europe, specifically in Ireland, they're checking back the ways in which international companies are using routes throughout different countries to avoid paying taxes.
Well, now that is some fucked up shit.
To get an idea of how bad the tax evasion was, for every 1 million euros that Apple earned, they paid 50 euros in taxes.
Man, this is some bullshit!
Specifically, what Apple did was they used subsidiaries in Ireland to claim that they were not a part of that country, and then they used laws that say that they're not a citizen to technically avoid paying taxes, and then when there are these international companies, it gets really easy for them to just never pay taxes.
That's why I prefer!
This is basically a legalized version of what was released in the Panama Papers, where many corporations, specifically individual people, were allowed to avoid paying taxes by putting their money elsewhere. Specifically, Apple was able to take the money that they earned in one place and then put it through Ireland in subsidiaries that they could use to avoid paying taxes, and then keep it for themselves, leading to this amazing statistic where they only have to pay a small percentage of their total earnings in taxes. Now, the main response that people have is specifically the U.S. response, and it's the response that I'm very disappointed in. The U.S. Treasury, or Secretary of the Treasury, said that he definitely does not support this decision because he fears that it worsens the relations between American companies and the European bloc.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Many people in Europe also say that the people who are going to be bearing the brunt of this, the brunt of this decision will be the product buyers, who will now pay more for their products and stuff like that. Of course, there are many responses that I have to this point because the point has been the same point that people have been using over and over again. And if you notice, it's the same exact argument that people make against raising the corporate tax rate any higher than what it is now, a tax rate that is already insanely low. And it's that the consumers will end up having to pay more, and they're the ones that are going to experience the problems associated with raising these taxes on rich corporations. The easiest response is that this is simply not true. That many corporations in the past have paid upwards of 70% in corporate tax rates, and they still were able to release products, and they still want people to buy their products. So logically, it doesn't make sense that the consumer will feel the brunt of the pain.
No shit.
The second thing is that people have been making a ton of profit based off of avoiding taxes. It's just a moral obligation. They have to pay taxes to the government rather than finding loopholes through this, and it's probably best that we close these loopholes.
But wait! There's more!
Third argument is simple too, and it's that the corporations already get way too much money. People need to start focusing on actually helping out the taxpayer and forcing the corporations to get pay taxes, because right now, for example, Boeing gets a ton of money in subsidies from the US, but they already make profits, so it doesn't really make much sense. Now, I know people are going to say that Boeing in this specific instance is trying to compete with other European aerospace industries, but this is something that's an international issue that we spend so much money on corporations rather than helping out the taxpayer. So in short, it's a really good thing that Europe was able to check back the tax abuse, and it's something that the US should back. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please share with your friends if you think they will like it too. And I'll see you tomorrow. What Donald Trump is proposing, however, is very different from what we would be imagining. What he is proposing is a mass deportation system of many different immigrants. He says